adjusting something is that my tripod is like broken, I would say. So yeah, I'm just somehow managing it, so that is not going to stop me from reading, right? So how can I do it? Just adjusting a lot of stuff here, so don't worry about that. So I think it is visible. Maybe the view is not 100% accurate, but although you're not reading from my books, I'm sure. So yeah, and I think the view is far better, it looks. Anyways, I'm just giving some void uh, features I'm saying. So yeah, don't know what happened to it. I need to, I will do by today. And yeah, so let's see. Okay, before I start my streaming, I really want to check that whether this video is streaming everywhere. So this video actually I stream on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope and Twitter. So from wherever you are listening to or watching this video, thank you so much for tuning in. It's day 41, guys, and we are going to read from chapter 10 to chapter 11. Great. So chapter 10 to chapter 11, it's day 21. No worries, no worries. So let me just, great, no problem. The view is like this, the perspective is different. Okay. Anyways, so this is chapter 10. I think I am on the same will of this relationships, because personal life, and it contains the chapter 10 relationships, right? Then 11 forgiveness. So these are the two chapters that I'm going to read today, 85 to 112, right? So it's around 15 plus 12, 27 pages, not that much. Okay, anyways, without wasting time, let's just read. So always this book starts with all the chapter starts with this quotes. I really like it. And before that, let me play some music, right? So let me know how you like the music. So if you don't like the music, tell me in the comments. Don't worry, you just read. Okay. It is strange that sword and words have the same letters. Even more strange is that they have the same effect if not handled properly. So sword and words are almost like same. So you can like injure anyone with your words as well if you want. That happens, right? Once Gaur Gopal Das went to BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange. When Bombay Stock Exchange name came in this book, I remember one web series that I highly recommend that you go ahead and watch. That is Scam 1992. That is the Harshad Mehta scam that really happened in India. If you're not from India, I highly recommend that you watch that. A simple guy, how he built his empire. It's super amazing. Yeah, So with that, let's come back to this today's point. When Gorgopal Das was invited in the BSE, which is Bombay Stock Exchange. Let me just readjust the focus here. So when he was invited there, he said this specific quote. I really liked it, which says that our mutual funds and our relationships have one thing in common: we must invest in both before we can withdraw. Right? It's a beautiful quote. I really like this. I will post it on the Twitter today. Let's see. Okay, so if you haven't followed me on Twitter, I highly recommend that you do that, because I post a lot of quotes. Sometimes my thinking added to it, but most of the times I post a lot of great quotes from all the books that I read. Right? So this was a story when Gorgopal Das visited Nepal, and he wanted to go to the Ukraine after that, from Nepal to Delhi to Ukraine. So, but he did not get his visa. But he needed to collect it from the Delhi office. Otherwise, it would have been take 5 days. So they will ship the visa to his personal address. But he needed to go to the Ukraine in 3 days. So he asked the senior monk there that he wants to go to the Delhi earlier than their group, so that he can collect the visa, and then so that they can visit Ukraine. But their temple was low in fund, so he asked that who will pay for your flight. Gorgopalas did not say anything, because he knew that the temple is actually low in fund. So what he did is that he asked the senior monk that he really need to go there. Then the senior monk got angry, and he said that whether he don't have any manners or not. So he gave a 5-minute lecture to Gorgopal Das, and when Gorgopal Das were like angry that how he can say something like that. So but after some moments, when Gorgopal Das pause for a moment and think about all the good things that senior monk did with him. So he was like a friend to him all the time. He helped him, and because of him, the temple actually felt like home. So he helped a lot in this journey. So he started thinking about all the good things and why he actually said no. He started justifying this thing in his mind, Gorgopal Das. But after doing that, he actually contacted. He actually came back to where the actual things happened, and they looked at each other. There was this there was this forgiveness, and there was this forgiveness automatically when they met their eyes. So it was like without saying anything, they forgive each other like this. So, and when they came back from the Nepal, while on the train, that senior monk actually came to Gorgopal Das, and he cried to him, and also Gorgopal Das cried to him, and he said sorry to Gorgopal Das because of his behavior. And both of them were were crying. And when people were asked as what was the highlight of the Nepal, is it that scenery and everything, then these people said that it's the friendship between that a senior monk and the Gorgopal Das, which was the highlight of their Nepal journey. So this is something called this amazing thing. So here is the thing. True forgiveness contributes to forming the strongest bonds between friends. If you can truly forgive someone, it actually increase the bond between two people and two friends, I would say, because forgiveness is very hard, and it's something that needs to be practiced as well. Because I have taken a lot of meditation courses. I would say it's not like courses, guided meditation. A lot of meditation actually tells us to try do this passive forgiveness. It's not like active forgiveness. Sometimes they say that, okay, I think about the person that you are angry with, or maybe there is something that is there in your mind that you can forgive that person. Do that through your meditation. It will help you calm down. A lot of things will be out of your shoulder if you just you can forgive that person. So true forgiveness can contribute to forming the strongest bond between friends, and I think it's really important that you forgive people. And here is the line that I am going to read from the book as it is. It says that only when we invest in people can we correct them. Sometimes this is done strongly, but we are all human. Mistakes happen and tempers are lost. But if our investments in others are strong, if we give them the care, love and appreciation they deserve, these little withdrawals come across as sprinkles of rain and not as torrential monsoon, right? So these are the thing that, like, he's saying that if we invest in some people and give them love and care, so mistakes will happen in relationships, and each and every way the mistakes will happen and tempers will be lost because situation arises and you can't really control some outside situations that really happen to us, right? Situations may arise, and it's up to you that how you think about that person, and how much you love that person or care for that person, and how much you have invested your time and energy to that person. So uh, it's all about the investment. So but if our investments in others are strong, if we give them the care, love and appreciation they deserve, these little withdrawals come across as sprinkles of rain. So these are the things that will be like rain that happens sometime and it will be gone. That won't be like torrential monsoon which will take away each and everything from your life. It's not like that. Okay, yeah, amazing, right? So here is a very nice thing he said, that this does not mean that we never give corrective feedback, but we need to learn the art of doing it correctly. Okay, he's saying that we need to actually give corrective feedback as well. Like you can correct this thing this way, but you need to do it in a different way. So these are the explanation that how we can do this corrective feedback. So corrective feedback is an art. He's saying, okay, let's see how we can do this. So here is the thing. Anytime you feel the need to give corrective feedback to someone, think of these 4 questions. Am I the right person to give corrective feedback? Do I have the right motive to give corrective feedback? Do I know the right way to give corrective feedback? And another question is like, is it the right time? So these are the 4 questions that you really need to ask. So what I did with this book right now is like, this is called a little bit of skimming. The word is skimming. So that really improves your reading speed. I know I'm saying something that is totally out of context of this book, but if you just see the columns, that what they are made of, it actually increases your reading speed a lot. So I just pick out all the points that is important. So I will because I'll be reading, I will know that there is no surprise for me. The reading gets easier because it's a non-fiction, guys. It's not really a fiction book that you can't really go back to the chapter and see what really happens. So doing this in fiction books would be like you're just seeing the movie in between what really happens in the in between the movie, and then you came back to the place where you were and resume the movie. It will be like that, but with the non-fiction you can do this. So let's just read. So these are the 4 questions that you need to be asking while giving the correct feedback, right? So let's see in details. So here is a joke. So am I the right person to give correct feedback? Is it appropriate for you to correct that person? There is a joke that every woman thinks that the best child in the world is her child. Every woman thinks that the best child in the world is her child, and every man thinks that the best wife in the world is the neighbor's wife. So there is we would all scream at someone else's child who is about to injure itself, but we are not talking of those exceptional situations. In any other situation, would you give corrective feedback to someone else's child? Would you give feedback to another spouse? In most situations you would not. Therefore we have to think that am I the right person to give this feedback, or is someone else better suited? Am I a relative? Am I a friend? Am I an authority in any way to give corrective feedback? If the answer to any of this question is yes, then you can proceed to the next one. Okay, so we need to ask all these 4 questions. It's not like that if one question answer is yes, then you just give the feedback. It's not like that. There is second question is like, do I have the right motive to give correct feedback, right? It is said that we can control two things in our life. Okay. um, our desires and our motives. So I'm just gonna, this is the four questions that is really needed. Okay. uh, our desires govern what we want, and our motives tells us why we want it. In many cases, we may correct others because we want to settle old accounts. We may have a grudge against them, and we may use the opportunity to correct them, simply to exact our vengeance. But this should not be our motive. It should be to help them as a friend. We should be conscientious that our motive is appropriate. We want to help them come out of the wrong way they are doing. Feedback from a place of love may seem unpalatable, but it tastes the sweetest if done appropriately and has the right effect. He's saying that the motive needs to be correct. It's not like that guy actually made me feel bad at some point, so I got a chance to show him that he's wrong at that place, and I just need to go him and give him the corrective feedback. Don't be that guy, okay? So do it because out of the friendship. Do it because you want to genuinely help them. So make sure that your purpose or the motive behind your corrective feedback is not really evil or anything like that. Maybe make sure you're doing it just to help. Okay, great. Okay, the third question is, do I know the right way to give corrective feedback? Honestly speaking, I don't know sometime, because it totally depends on the context and the situation I am in, because I'm not really someone who can give corrective feedback in each and every situation, I would say. So it totally depends. I don't know. What about you? Let me know in the comments. Okay, I really need to. This is just a fake story, but it proves the point. I thought I will not be reading it, but the stories has this immense power to actually integrates anything in your mind, which any other things can't do. So the author always can say that point, say the point as it is, but if it is backs up with the story, it really ingrains in our mind. And I think stories are all the things that is matter at the end of the day, right? So yeah. um, so let me just read this. Jack was an electrical engineer. His days were exhausting and mentally demanding. He would need to deal with complex physics as part of his design work. So you can see this how hectic his job is. One oversight could lead to his company losing crores of rupees, or worse, him getting fired. It was a Thursday, and Jack was the most tired he had ever been, right? And in that day, he was so much tired, right? All he wanted to do was to eat dinner with his wife, Jill. As you may have guessed by now, this story is made up, but I promise you it serves a purpose. Jill was a chef by profession and loved treating her husband to her new experimental dishes. She was excited for him to come home so he could test her new recipe for soup. When Jack came home, his face was drained of color from fatigue. He threw his briefcase on the floor, loosened his tie, greeted his wife, and sat at the dining table. "This soup looks delicious," he said. "It's a special recipe that I have been working all day. I wanted you to taste it first," a giddy Jill said. Jack took a ladle and poured himself the creamy red soup. He looked up at his beaming wife, watching her every move. She slid a spoon across her table for him and then put both hands under her chin, elbows on the dining table, and leaned forward. Jack slurped a spoonful. "Tomatoes good, chilies good, salt bad." The soup was totally bland. What should you do in this situation? You have just had a terrible day at work. How would you tell your wife about the poor quality of her cooking? Thankfully, Jack engineered a plan on the spot. He grabbed another spoon from the cutlery drawer and said, smiling, "It's been so long since I have lovingly fed you. Come and try this." Saying so, he fed her some soup. "Oh, I forgot the salt." She jumped up, arriving at the conclusion by herself. Jack could have easily criticized his wife's soup using unkind words. Instead, he chose to give his feedback with sensitivity. People are usually resilient. They can stand being wrong, but only when it is pointed out to them with love. Right? So here's the thing. People are usually resilient. They can stand being wrong, but only when it is pointed out to them with love. So people can withstand any criticism if you point them out with a love, with a sense of love. That needs to be genuine. It's not like something that you're pretending. Being blunt and as abusive can be emotionally draining for both, and the person receiving the feedback switches off after some time. As is commonly said, it was not what you said, it's how you said it. Our tone of voice, body language, and facial expressions account for more than the words we use. Right? Oh, can you do that? I can do it with the pen more better. Sometimes I can't really do it with the pencil. Come on. Anyways, so yeah. Is it right time? That's the fourth question that you need to be asking. So here is a nice line. I again write like it. When we express what we feel, we do so at the risk of seeming unpleasant. But when we take the time to explain our emotions to people, they might be able to empathize with us. The bottom line: hot heads do not give good feedback. Choose a better time. So when you are actually cool-minded, then you give the feedback. Make sure the right time is correct, he's saying. Okay, so do not just go there and because the time just go there and start giving people some feedbacks, right? So yeah. So he's saying that taking the time to ask these 4 questions before giving somebody correctional feedback can change one's life. To understand them deeply, contemplation and discussion with someone more experienced than oneself are required, as every situation is different. The principles remains the same in every situation, but the application may vary on a case-to-case basis, depending on the gravity of the situation or even relationships with the person. We would not correct our spouses in the same manner we would our children. One size does not fit all, neither do our methods to correct, right? So we can't correct people in the same way, because each and every person is different. Each and every person relationship with each and every person of us are different. So we can't really give feedback in a same format or framework. So this is just a method. These are just the question which works, right? Yeah. Let's read the summary of this book. So not the book, this chapter, which is correcting cautiously. So I think that's the name of the chapter. Yeah, correcting cautiously. So before you correct people, these are the rules that you really need to remember. Okay, so the summary is this: saying things in anger damages our relationships, hence we should try to avoid doing so. Okay, that's great. We all know that, but we hardly actually listen to this advice. So yeah, I think that's the thing, we need to keep practicing this, right? Okay, if we need to give corrective feedback, we should invest tons of praise and interest into a person before doing so. Okay, think, with regard to the story in Nepal, I could deal with the emotional hurt because I realized how much the individual correcting me had done for me in the past. Corrective feedback is an art. It has 4 principles. Ask yourself, am I the right person to give corrective feedback? Do I have the right motive to give corrective feedback? Do I know the right way to give corrective feedback? Is it the right time? So ask this 4 questions before you give anyone this corrective feedback, that you need to fix yourself this way before you say all these kind of things to different kind of people with different relationships with you. Just practice this question before you just give them any corrective feedback. The smooth implementation of this 4 principle takes time, because giving corrective feedback insensitively has become an addictive habit for many. So we as a human being has this always has this suggestion mode on. So whenever we get time, we start to get suggestions, and we try to correct people. Okay, these are the things that you should do correctly. So he says that it's addictive, and we need to start do practice that. So yeah, these are the 4 questions that you really need to ask yourself before you give anyone this corrective feedback, right? All right. Okay, great. So this 11th chapter is forgiveness. Okay, forgiveness is a complex concept. We must understand it thoroughly to be able to internalize it. Yeah, is it complex? I don't know. Okay, here's a nice quote by Martin Luther King Jr. I really love to read quotes by Martin Luther King. I haven't read anything like any biography or anything like that, but I really like this guy's quotes, I would say, because he comes to many books, many self-help books, and actually talks about him. Like I have read like Start With Why, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and also this book is again talking about this. And okay, anyways, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. See, it's this amazing quote. I really like this. This is not the first time I'm reading it, but I'm still getting this like goosebumps when I read this kind of quotes. Anyways, let's just read this. So here is the thing, which Gorgopal Das was like think that it thought that it's a joke, but okay. Forgiveness is hard to theorize. It is a bit like salt. You know only when it's missing. Yeah. Okay. Forgiveness warms the heart and cools the string. It is a choice that each of us has to make for ourselves to save our relationships and achieve peace of mind. Okay, really? Okay. There are the few things we should remember in practicing forgiveness. Okay, so these are the things. Let me just read. Okay, so what are the things? Let me just skim a little. Okay. Look beyond the situation. Higher purpose. Okay, these are the two situations. Okay, let me just read. So he talked about the a little bit of story of Ramayana when Sita was kidnapped. Because the thing is that from the forest there was a cry that came in, which sounds like the Rama, which is the husband of Sita. And he was asking for help, but Lakshman could not leave Sita because he had the duty to protect her. So because Sita saw that Lakshman is not leaving Sita, and her husband is in some kind of danger or maybe in pain. So her heart actually felt with a lot of sorrow and pain, and he wanted a reaction from Lakshman. So she actually criticized Lakshman for taking over all the kingdom after his brother is dead. So he said this to a person who dedicated his whole life to them, right? But she still said this because her my state of mind were not that in place to actually think about all these things in terms. So that is the thing. Here is the point of this story is like we have all been in situations where our intellect is clouded by our emotions. At those times we say anything and everything for our own peace of mind, right? Although a moment of patience in a moment of anger can save us 1,000 moments of regret in the future. Usually when we are suffering intensely, we cannot help but let our minds run amok. For our own growth, we should maintain equipoise in testing times. When someone hurts us, we should try to look beyond the situation and think, how are they suffering? What are they feeling to say such a thing? Is there some deeper chaos that is occurring in their life for them to say these words to me? It's not about supporting the hurtful comments made by others. It is about seeing what they are going through to be making them. This is empathy, an essential component of forgiveness. Right, so you are actually putting yourself on others' shoes, and you are just seeing and evaluating the situation, that why they are saying something like that, why they are doing something to you. You are just seeing the context through their eyes, in their place, right? So that is called the empathy, and practicing empathy is like it's a process again. So you can't really like say that okay, I feel this empathy for each and everyone in this world suddenly. So it requires some practice as well, right? And Gaur Gopal said that it is an essential component of forgiveness, right? So yeah, another point is separate the episode from the person. So the point of this, like, yeah, these are the things that you need to keep in mind while actually forgive people, right? Look beyond the situation. That is the first one that we read. So see others' perspectives as well, see the context through others' eyes, and look beyond the situation. It's not like that someone said to you and you're like instantly reacting something. Okay, separate the episode from the person. Okay, let's see what really is there. That makes sense. The name is quite good. So let me just read it, what actually this means. If I read this portion, you will understand. When I fail at something, whether it's an exam or a relationship, I may think that I am a failure. But just because I failed one time or even more than once in my life, does that really make the whole of me a failure? Similarly, just because someone may on a rare occasion have failed us, should we treat that person like a failure? Should we not see that the lapse as an independent event? Everyone is going through challenges concealed from the public eye, and we need the lens of empathy to be able to see it. Right? He's saying that okay, the event that really happens to you, you just detect, remove that event from that person, and then think about the person themselves, right? Okay. And because it says that one event can change your life, and one event can destroy any relationship as well. So he's saying that okay, think about it in a different term, right? But it's not really always applicable. He also said this, okay, so you can't really say that okay, it is totally impractical. He will come back to it, he promised. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is not to say that we should tolerate abuse or not do sensible thing and correct someone when they are wrong, but in order to practice forgiveness, we have to learn to separate the incident from that person. Disconnecting the person from the problem starts with the language we use to describe the incident. Saying it is my problem causes us to feel guilty, and over time one may develop an inferiority complex. We may begin to think that we are not tough enough to deal with situations, and thus we may have become morals over issues. Saying it is your problem causes us to feel angry. How many times have we pointed our index finger at someone and used the words, it's your problem, not mine? I have never seen anyone say those words in a peaceful state of mind. Blaming the other person only leads to a spiral of anger. Saying it is the problem separates the problem from the persons involved. Not only does this separation empower us to forgive the person, it also helps us to effectively deal with the problem. He's saying that okay, do not say that it's my problem or your problem. Say that it's a problem. Okay, when you actually separate the problem from you and others, you are actually left with only the problem, and the person is not really connected with that problem, and you just need to fix that problem only, right? That is the thing he's actually talking about, right? Okay, the third point is higher purpose. Let's see what it is. So one man came to Gorgopal Das crying that his wife actually cheated on him. So Gorgopal Das, and he asked for that what he should do. But Gorgopal Das never really liked to give advice to someone because he thinks that people should take decision on their own. So he said that he has two options, like one is justice, another is forgiveness. So and he started asking this guy some series of questions like, do you love your wife, and do you think that she is the best mother for your child, because you were saying that she is the best mother for your child. So he says that nothing of them is like bad. You can either go for justice, but it will cost your marriage, and you will end up with this with the divorce. And if you go for the forgiveness path, it will take some time to heal, because he says that with time we can, and guidance, we can heal each and everything. And so he says that you have two options, neither of them is good or bad, but these are the consequences of this specific decisions of yours, right? And here's the thing that he says, that relationships are tested during difficult times. To accept someone when everything is going right is easy, but when things are falling apart around you and you stick together, that's the test of a relationship. Love is when we have every reason to break up, but we do not. Right? Okay. Now he will talk about the difference between the justice and forgiveness. Okay, let's see. That is justice and what is forgiveness? Anyways, okay. Okay, the topic is like forgiveness and justice is like this. If you want to forgive someone, right? So justice and forgiveness is different this way, is that when Arjuna actually wanted to forgive all the people that he was actually going to fight to, because the reason is that because it was his family. On a personal level, he didn't wanted this fight, but Sri Krishna actually trying to convince him, because the reason is that he is actually doing it for the higher purpose. It's not only for that. In the personal level, he can obviously forgive, but he was doing it for the society. It's for the higher purpose and for the justice of the whole society. It's not like that you can obviously forgive anyone, and it's the best way to actually calm down any situation, but you can do it for the personal level. The Nirbhaya case he also mentioned here, and that happens in the Delhi, because 6 men raped this 23-year-old girl, and he says that we could have forgive those rapists, but what would have been happened? That's not really a justice, right? So in societal level, we should always seek for the justice instead of this forgiveness, right? So that is he's talking about. Okay, so on a personal level, we can forgive those who hurt us. That is a personal choice available to all of us. However, on a societal level, such heinous crimes, if left unpunished, can create havoc. The social repercussion of allowing those who break the law to go free are devastating. Therefore, Sri Krishna encouraged Arjuna to lift his bow, because in this case fighting was the right thing to do. Okay. The principle of forgiveness and the principle of social justice go hand in hand. It takes wisdom and introspection to know how they are to be used. So it's very important that you have this mind set to actually understand when to use the forgiveness and when to use the justice. And this makes sense because see what message it will send out if we just keep forgiving the rapist or all the people who has done heinous crimes, and if we say that okay, let's forgive them for now, give them a chance. What kind of message we will send to our society? Our society will be like in havoc, like okay, criminals will think okay, we can obviously do some crime and just get away because our government or our justice system is actually so much forgiving, right? So this will collapse the society itself. He says that the principle of forgiveness and the principle of social justice go hand in hand. It takes wisdom and introspection to know how they are to be used. Okay. I did not get the full meaning or the value of this sentence. Please let me know in the comments if you want to show some light, put some light on it, I would say. So yeah, the topic of relationships has spiritual roots. If we can understand how to relate to people on a spiritual level, then we can transcend our dividing differences. So let me know in the comments. So here's the summary of this chapter called the forgiveness. Yeah. Forgiveness is a deep and often obscure value to understand. Great. The principle we should know about forgiveness are: look beyond the situation, separate the episode from the person, higher purpose and justice. So yeah, look beyond the situation. If we are too hard by someone's words, try to understand why they spoke them. When people act harshly towards us, most of the time they are suffering too. This is empathy. Separate the episode from the person. Rather than being affected by the emotion of guilt by saying I am wrong, or anger by saying you are wrong, you should separate the I or the you and deal with the wrong. Higher purpose. Can we forgive based on a higher principle? For example, in my story, the husband forgave the wife because he loved her and they had a duty to their community and son. If chosen, this approach takes support and time and is not something that happens overnight. Okay. Justice. On a personal level, we can forgive the person who may have wronged us, but on a societal level, there should be strict justice to create an orderly society. No one should be able to break the law and get away with it in the name of forgiveness. Note: to help you reflect on forgiving someone in your own life, please complete the exercise in Appendix 1, that is called Forgiveness Worksheet. So there is a worksheet that we need to do. I'm not sure that I don't think I will be doing this live on the video, guys. It's all about like reading the book. It's not about filling out the exercise, because I will be doing this exercise, there is no doubt, but maybe not in the live. Okay. Yeah, so because I really need to some personal things here. No, I won't be doing this live. I will be doing this today, but not live. I highly recommend that you do these practices. See guys, I have seen people that all the books that talks about give some exercise in the book, people don't really care to actually do this exercise. They just read the book for the sake of reading, because I am just reading, and in the good reads my yearly goals are getting completed. Do not read books for like this, set like 10 books goals, or maybe one book goal for the year, but actually implement all the things that is there in the book. Make sure that you are actually using the book, right? So there is a nice talk in my podcast by Shobhit Singhal. I would highly recommend that you watch that, this YouTube channel that you currently see right now on the screen. So these are all the social handles. Wherever you're active, just follow me there. Okay, so this is the forgiveness worksheet that I will be filling up today. And forgiveness is the best thing. When I did it in the meditation, it really lightens the shoulder or the soul, I would say, okay, it gives a little bit of calmness, I would say. Sometimes it will really, sometimes you will feel angry as well, that why this guy is actually, why that guy is guiding us to actually forgive someone. But you will feel better after some time. Okay, I will be filling this up, but not in live, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a good reads today. And yeah, anyways, so let me know if you want anything to be improved here. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in.